Welcome back to Science in Real Time. I'm Carli Reyes, and this is Funding Focus, your monthly lens on the business moves shaping biotech and drug discovery. Each episode, we spotlight the deals, policies, and innovations that are driving science forward. From billion-dollar pharma bets, to AI platforms raising capital, to even governments rewriting the rules of the game. This month's lineup really captures the full spectrum of how discovery is funded and scaled. Today, we'll cover how Novo Nordisk's $550 million leap into self-replicating RNA, the UK's £1.12 billion plan to cement itself as Europe's biotech hub, Phenomic AI's $20 million raise proving how imaging and AI are converging, and finally, the bigger picture of how public and private fundings are shaping biotech's global ecosystem. Each of these stories shows how capital and policy are converging to accelerate discovery. Let's start with our first story. Novo Nordisk has signed a $550 million partnership with Replicate Bioscience to co-develop self-regulating RNA therapies for metabolic diseases. 3 years ago, siRNA was still viewed as experimental, with most investments clustered in vaccines. By the end of 2024, early clinical data from smaller players proved the modality's durability. And now, with this deal, Novo Nordisk is really betting on scaling siRNA into mainstream cardiometabolic care. Another clear signal that RNA platforms have moved from niche to a core pillar of biopharma strategies. Across the Atlantic, the UK government announced a bold £1.12 billion industrial strategy to make Britain's Europe's top biotech hub by 2030. So the timeline here matters. Post-Brexit, so from 2019 to 2021, UK biotech saw a real slowdown in foreign capital. By the end of 2024, recovery was underway, but investments still lagged behind the US. Now, this package that includes £600 million for a national health data research service and £520 million for biomanufacturing is meant to supercharge the rebound and create a self-sustaining ecosystem. With this push, the UK is trying not to just catch up, but to set itself up as Europe's innovation hub for the next decade. In financing news, Phenomic AI, a Toronto-based startup, closed a $20 million Series A to scale its imaging-powered drug discovery platform. Back in 2022, imaging-based phenotypic screens were mostly academic demonstrations. By 2024, Pharma started to take notice, with a handful of early partnerships. Now, Phenomic's raise shows the space has really matured into an investable commercial category. Phenomic combines high-content cell imaging with machine learning to map tumor microenvironments and identify novel oncology targets. Its success validates the broader industry shift towards AI and imaging workflows. What AI is to imaging is no longer a side tool. It's clear that it's becoming an engine for modern drug discovery, as highlighted by these stories. So to close, why don't we zoom out a little bit? What ties these stories together is the interplay between the public and the private capital. 3 years ago, biotech was in a pandemic-driven funding boom, with record-breaking ventures all around. By the end of 2024, the cycle had corrected. Startups tightened spends, and governments stepped back into the gap with industrial strategies. Now, in mid-2025, we're seeing something new. Public and private investment strategies converging. Government packages like the UK are designed to attract VC follow-up funding, while pharma's billion-dollar deals are being de-risked by early public sector investments in new modalities like RNA and AI. Rather than operating in silos, capital sources are feeding into one another, creating an interlinked ecosystem that could sustain biotech throughout its next growth cycle. When you take a step back, what stands out this month is how different forces, pharma strategies, national policies, startup capital, and even public funding, are all moving now in sync. RNA is being scaled, imaging is being validated, and governments are actively positioning their economies around biotech growth. It's rare to see alignment across stakeholders at this level, but it may be exactly what's needed to push discovery into the next phase. As we look to September, two threads are worth watching closely. First, AI-biotech partnerships are heating up. We should be expecting more joint ventures before the year ends. Second, new governments and RDs packages that are due in both the US and Asia, which could rebalance where the next wave of biotech startups decide to launch. Both trends are closely linked to shape how fast and where discovery is scaled next. And we'll be here to track it all. And that's a wrap for this month's Funding Focus. If you found this helpful, share it with a colleague, follow the show, and stay tuned for next updates. I'm Carli Reyes. Thanks for listening.